Hello students, welcome to English Language Classroom Session 5. Today, let us begin the session with a haiku poem. I'm reading out two haiku poems, that is H-A-I-K-U, haiku. It is a short form of Japanese poetry and it consists of 3 short lines that do not rhyme. Now, often its focus is on images of nature and conveys deeper meaning. This kind of poems emphasize simplicity, intensity, and directness of expression. You can use this even in your compositions if it is appropriate. I will read out 2 such haiku poems on summer, as it is summertime. Listen. The first one is, when the wind moves through the summer leaves, I hear the hush of the ocean. Second one, summer night, even the stars are whispering to each other. Now, don't you feel like writing a haiku poem? Why not try? Take some tips from good websites. All right. Now, let us begin our session with CELQ. Today, I'm giving you a quiz on compound adjectives. Don't panic listening to the name. It's quite simple. It will also help you to write your compositions in a more effective manner. All right, what is a compound adjective? It is a single adjective made up of more than one word. For example, well-written essay. Well-written describes essay. Well-written is a compound adjective. 3-tire AC coach. Here 3-tire is a compound adjective. As today's session, the main session is on descriptive composition, I thought why not focus on descriptive words. Okay, so here are the exercises for you. Exercise A, match the words together to form 5 compound adjectives. On the left hand side, you can see broad, well, brightly, smooth, off. And on the right hand side, you can see putting, lit, talking, minded, known. Now you have to match these words. Pause the video and find the answer. Okay, I hope you got the answers. The first one is broad-minded. Second, well-known. The third one is brightly lit. Fourth one, smooth talking. Fifth one is off-putting. I'm sure you know the meanings of the first 3. The fourth one means, that is smooth talking, means using charming or flattering language that's not completely honest. So you have to be very careful with smooth talking people, right? Now, what is off-putting? Off-putting means unpleasant. All right. Now, as you understood the meanings, let us go to exercise B. You have to fill up these blanks using the words given above. Okay. First one, go through that. All the 5, read it carefully and find the answers yourself. Pause the video, find the answers. Okay, now I will give you the answers. Good leaders are far-sighted and broad-minded. Second one is, Brightly lit rooms should be used for studies. Next one. Don't watch him so closely. I'm sure he's finding it off-putting. Fourth one. William Shakespeare is well known for his dramas and sonnets. Last one. He is a smooth-talking politician. We cannot completely rely on his words. I hope all of you got these answers right, because this is a very simple exercise. Now, let us move to the next one. Exercise C. Match each compound adjective 1 to 8 to an adjective in A to H with a similar meaning. You can read these and find the answers. You can pause the video. Yes. Here are the answers. First one is hard wearing. It means durable. Second one, record breaking. It means outstanding. Third one, labor saving, which means convenient. Fourth one is hard hitting. Hard hitting means direct. Fifth one, good looking. It means attractive. Sixth one, never ending. Never ending means interminable. Seventh, mouth watering. That is appetizing. Eighth one is far reaching. The answer is extensive. I can see smiles on some faces who got all the answers right. All right, don't worry, you can go through this again and learn it properly. This will definitely expand your vocabulary. Okay. Now, let us go to the main segment of this session, that is descriptive essay, descriptive composition. In a descriptive composition, you usually know what your theme is. That is, you have to read the question properly. You know which person, place, or thing you have to describe, right? Now, two main problems are, that is, when you write a descriptive essay or descriptive composition, these two questions you must be able to answer this, or it must be clear in your mind. How can I make my description interesting? Second one is, how can I arrange my points in a sensible order? So these two main problems, if you can solve in your descriptive essay, it's a delicious feast for any reader. All right. Now look at this example. If you are going to describe a place, the first thing in your mind should be, you should look for details which quickly help a reader to imagine the place. That is, you should have a very clear idea about the place. Second thing you should be careful is, use as many of your five senses as you can. That is what you see, hear, perhaps smell, what food tastes, or what something feels. You should include all these details. Now remember, let's go to the third point. The examiners are always pleased if you use local color. That is, local details which may not be found in another country, something unique to your place, which you are going to describe. Now, I'll give you some adjectives which you can use to describe a place. See, classical, historical, isolated, lively, luxurious, magical, neglected, high-tech, peaceful, overgrown, spacious, spectacular, splendid, suburban, tranquil. You can use these words when you're describing any place appropriately. Remember that. Now, this time I'm going to read out only the first paragraph of a descriptive composition. Look at the question first. That is, describe the scene outside a sports stadium immediately before an important match. And remember, this is a scene outside a sports stadium. That too immediately before an important match. So you should know what is that important match you're going to write about. And it is not about the match, it is about the scene outside a sports stadium. That too immediately before the match. Listen, it was 5 p.m., an hour before the match, and the crowd was pouring into the stadium. The car park was a hive of activity, that is a very busy area. Vehicles of all manner of shapes and sizes were scrambling about for places to park. Their owners, miffed by crawling speeds of the vehicles, everywhere wore looks of despair. Their faces reflected their fears. Would they be able to find a car park space or not? Here and there horns were pressed in irritation, and a few fists shaken in the air. It was amazing that there was still an hour to go. But then again, this was usual. Drivers knew that to get a car park space, they had to arrive an hour early. Smiles on their faces as they walked towards the stadium showed that the car owners had found a space. Now, the rest you can write yourself. See, I'll give you just some clues, some hints. You can continue by writing about the bus loads of humanity arriving in swarms. Now, how they came. How, like winding rivers, they queued up outside the gate. Their casual dressing style. You can also write they are dressed in their favorite team's jersey color. Their ready to sweat attitude. Now, when the gate opened, how they behaved. The surge of humanity moved and disappeared into the stadium. Their laughter, their shouts, you can describe all that. Then finally, how the crowd fell into trickle, Trickle, outside the gate. You can also hear loudspeakers blaring, giving instructions to the fans who are moving inside. How the noise within sounded. You are listening to all this from outside the stadium, sports stadium. How the noise within sounded like loud cacophony, 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 for the one standing outside the stadium. Then the cheer of the fans when the heroes arrived. Now, you should not write what happened after the match began because the question asks only to describe the scene outside a sports stadium immediately before an important match. I hope you got some idea how to write a descriptive essay. They should be full of descriptive words. Okay, here is the assignment 10 for you. That is, summers are becoming hotter with each passing year. Write a description of one such very hot day. What did you see and hear as you walked outside? How were the birds and animals affected? This is from 2019 question paper. Now, the points you must cover are these. First one is, must give a detailed description of a hot summer day. Then, the terrible heat, rising temperature, humidity or aridity. You have to describe all that. Next one is behavior of people in general and especially the travelers. You can observe all these. Then the clothes they wear, how they are protecting themselves from sunburns, etc. The next main point you must cover is images of animals and birds seeking shades and water. I hope you understood how to address this descriptive essay. Now, we are moving to the next segment, that is transformational sentences lesson 2. I hope you all have done the transformation of sentences lesson 1 assignment related to so that and to. Now today we are discussing how to construct sentences using as soon as, no sooner than, hardly when, and scarcely when. Now look at this example. As soon as the teacher asked the question, the students rose their hands. You know that we use these constructions when we are talking about one action, when one action happens soon after the other. Understand that the gap between these actions is not there at all. One thing happens soon after the other. So in the same manner, in this example, the first action is the teacher asked the question. Second action is the students rose their hands. So we add as soon as with the first action. That is as soon as the teacher asked the question. Second action is the students rose their hands. Now look at this, another rule for this. Now, if we have to join two sentences using as soon as, we have to omit words such as soon, immediately, quickly, without delay, etc. Look at this example. I finished my homework. I went out to play immediately. When you're joining these two sentences using as soon as or no sooner, hardly, scarcely, as soon as I finished my homework, I went out to play. You should not write I went out to play immediately. You have to remove immediately. Okay. Now, let us see how to use no sooner, hardly, and scarcely. With no sooner, we attach than. And hardly is accompanied, hardly and scarcely is accompanied with when. This is the usual construction that comes. No sooner did or had or does or do, then hardly or scarcely, same thing. Did, had, does, do. All right. Now, as we use as soon as, you know that as soon as is attached to the first event clause. That is the clause which expresses the first event. We attach no sooner, hardly, scarcely with the clause which expresses the first event. And the clause which tells about the second event begins with a connector than, or when. Look at this example. As soon as Sania sat down to study, lights went off. You are asked to begin with hardly. Hardly did Sania sit down to study when the lights went off. So the first action is Sania sat down to study. That's why we have used hardly with that. And see, sat is equal to did plus sit. Remember that. So hardly did Sania sit. Look at the next example. Hardly had the teacher left the room when all the children started making a noise. Begin with no sooner. No sooner had the teacher left the room than all the children started making a noise. Yes. Now here, as soon as the sun rose over the hills, the fog disappeared. Now rose is equal to did rise. So you can write it like this. No sooner did the sun rise over the hills than the fog disappeared. So you can also write no sooner had the sun risen over the hills than the fog disappeared. Now here is another example. I am giving you so many examples that you will understand it better. As soon as the teacher enters, she is greeted by her students. Okay. Now here, this is from 2020. You are asked to begin with no sooner. Here, this is slightly different. It is in present tense. So you have to enters is equal to does plus enter. So you have to write it like this. No sooner does the teacher enter than she is greeted by her students. I hope you understood. You should not write does the teacher enters, then it becomes just wrong. Yes. Look at the next example. As soon as the residents see someone throwing garbage in their colony, they report the matter to the police. Yes, here the sentence is in present tense again. But C is equal to do plus C. So scarcely do the residents see someone throwing garbage in the colony when they report the matter to the police. Clear? Okay. Now, I'm going to give assignment 11 in the description box. That is, it is related to as soon as, no sooner, hardly, scarcely construction. And I'm also giving the answer for assignment 9 now itself. It is given in the description box. You can go through that. I want you to do the assignments right now. Don't delay. Okay. So this is the end of this session. Thank you, children. God bless all of you.